60 minutes up close with RC legend Bruno Coelho.
It's my work, I need to be 100% focused, and that's my moment.
Name one driver you've ever had beef with on the track.
Myself.
An honest account of how it's tough at the top.
Because modify at the end is the same as you put an F1 engine inside of one Fiat Punto.
The new focus that Infinity has given him.
What was happening before I was driving like 6 classes. How can you make six classes 100%?
And a passion for RC that is stronger than ever.
€1 million to never touch an RC car again. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
Hello and welcome to the RC Racing TV podcast. You can already see who's joining us today. It's another world champion to add to the list of world champions we've been talking to, and he is a many time champion, Euros, Worlds, ETS, everything, all of the letters.
Yeah, all the important stuff.
Yeah, he's won just about everything you can win, and we're very honoured to be in the presence of Mr. Bruno Coelho. Bruno.
Hey. Hello, guys.
How are you doing?
All
are you
good?
Well?
Yeah, I'm well. Having some days of rest now. Getting ready for the TITC coming up next week. So yeah, ready for it.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll get into like the changes that have happened with you recently, and it was like one of the world's worst kept secrets. Like what was happening with you. Like I think the whole RC, like you didn't talk about it. Like obviously you did what you were supposed to do, which is wait to the end of one contract and then have an announcement and stuff. But everybody knew something was happening with Bruno. Everyone knew. Everyone suspected. I don't know why. Maybe it was because was it public knowledge that you were coming to the end of a contract period with Xray, so everyone suspected maybe something's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's normal because when something like this happens, a lot of people need to be involved. And when a lot of people are involved, there are always those that like to share something that they should not do. Because it involves a lot of things. I mean, it's not only about the secret itself to being changed or not, but there are also a lot of business things behind it that needs to be respected. And I honestly, I don't really like when a driver announces and you completely like do it in the beginning of the year and then you are all year already expecting the other year to come, so I think things needs to be respected, and if until the end of that year you are with that company, you must stay with that company 100%. And I like to keep it like that, and I respected also the Xray side and everything on that, and I like it to create this kind of boom around, because even though everybody knew it, nobody had the confirmation about it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, he's going there, but then nobody really had the confirmation about it. So it was just rumors, And then it was actually nice at the same time, like also Associated came with a touring car. So then they were like, okay, maybe he goes to Associated, not really Infinity. So it was nice to see that the people were talking around, and then also they were thinking like Monaco was doing a touring car. So it was, everybody knew, but at the same time, there was not 100% confirmed. So it was a nice thing to watch from the outside.
I think the wildest rumor I heard was Mallorca, that you were going to go to Mallorca, but obviously that wasn't the case.
I mean, it could be. I mean, the future is the future. We never know. But yeah, I think it was a nice move, and I mean, really
Absolutely.
enjoying a lot. The project itself is super nice.
I must say, it was one of the classiest kind of announcements. Like you put effort into that. Like you get what it's about, like on a full scale level. Like people want to know, and you understand people want to know, and you didn't just have an image where you photoshopped a t-shirt on and just went, yeah, you did the whole thing. But you actually put a lot of time into paying respect to Xray as well, which I thought was really classy. And they shared that as well, knowing that everyone's going to know you're leaving. They shared that your post about mutual respect. I thought that was so important and quite rare.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like the results were the results. We have a lot of history in the back. it was, it was a change that, of course, not all parts agree and will say like, of course, Xray was not happy with me leaving, but in the end, it's my life, and there are new things I like to do. There are new sponsors. I'm also changing sponsors sometimes, like electronic, batteries, bodies, and this kind of thing. In these 11 years, I never changed my main sponsor. That was Xray. And this was an opportunity that was like, or I accept it, or probably in the future I'll regret about it, And everything came together to be something very good and special. And it was the moment, like it was, everything was perfect last year because I won the Worlds with Xray. So it was like the end of an era with them, which was very beautiful, And then I left, but I leave there a lot of friends, which they keep still friends, We are not work partners anymore in terms of working in the same company, but we still respect each other, and we still need to accept the decisions of each other. And I think this was very important. And Xray, they respect my decision of leaving. And I think this was very important. I'm sure I still have the door open if I want to come back one day. But in the moment, everything is is really looking good. The project is going very well with Francisco Kenji-san, that is the owner. It's very very motivated, and to make touring car great. And this is the main thing, to make the touring car great. And yeah, everything is looking good. All team is motivated. All team was. I had a very warm welcome, so I'm very, very happy.
Absolutely. When you went to the Worlds, I imagine everyone knew at that point internally that you were going to change this year. So you have this one big race, this final big race, and I guess it was you and Martin working a lot together there. But this is kind of like goodbye. Was that the case, or am I just making that up?
Yeah. Honestly, and you can believe if you want, but this is true. I think I only had one guy talking about it. That was Ron Falk talking with me about my situation for next year. Believe me, nobody from the team during last year asked me if I was going to leave Xray or not.
Right.
Nobody.
Okay.
Really. I was surprised as well, because it's normal. Like even Alex, that I shared the room with him. I'm super good friend with him, I think everybody respect that moment, respect the thing of like, he's gonna leave, he's not gonna leave. Some they didn't want to believe this was going to happen, But and then I just, after the Worlds, like there was, I think in December, I informed the whole team that I was going to leave, but nobody really told me that, like, you are going to leave or something. But at the Worlds, when I won the Worlds, and I was like saying, basically like saying goodbye to, like, when you go away, like after the Worlds, you could feel like when you were hugging your teammates, you could feel that hug was different. It was a different hug.
Yeah.
It's not a see you in next race, see you, even though they didn't say anything, so it was a nice moment, because everybody respects if it's not public, if you don't say anything, is because you don't want nobody to know. Why should I talk with you about it? They respect this thing. But then in the moment to say goodbye, because we don't see you anymore until the end of the year, that hug was a different hug. It was like we know you are going to change, but we respect your thing of not saying anything. So it was
right.
a moment.
It's funny you mentioned Ronefalk was the guy who asked, because he has a reputation, obviously. He joins HB and Testament leaves. He joins Xray and Testament leaves. He joins Xray and he leaves.
But it was nice. It was also a nice thing, because I was not expecting that moment. He asked me, and I was like, kind of, okay, I cannot tell, but at the same moment, like, everybody knows, So yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
How important is the decision-making process? Obviously, Francesco's very important. You're kind of a partnership, and obviously we saw the video that you released together. Did you spend a lot of time working together trying to figure out what is the next step for you guys as a kind of a team Bruno? Is that right to kind of say it's like that?
Well, I think we need to go a little bit back and understand why Francisco is that important to me.
Okay.
So when I started RC, I have really zero knowledge about touring cars, especially. I had some knowledge together with my father about nitro on road, but I really had zero knowledge about touring. And Francesco, in that time, he was already together with Xray, and he was in the part of development in Xray, and he was driving as well. The thing is, he had always very nice ideas. He had always very nice like car and settings and everything. But driving wise, he was not really talented to show the things, because you can be really super smart, but if you cannot show what you do, then it's just a good thing. And then he saw this opportunity to follow me as a mechanic, and to have like my talent together with his knowledge to make something good. But in this process of being my mechanic, we become super good friends. And then it was more about the relation than really he's being my mechanic, basically. Through that process, we have been joining many projects together where the projects become super successful. Not only because I work harder and I have a very good talent and I'm a very good driver, and also he helps me on the other part that is also like the logistic, the thinking about the ideas and all this kind of thing. And it started immediately in that time when I left LRP and I went to Obiwing. So if we go back on time, when I joined Obiwing was like not known in the market. Like there was nobody. There was only like
Yeah.
LRP in that time, probably like Reedy, and like there was not really like LRP. I think was one of the biggest in that time. And I joined Obiwing because Francisco told me they really had like very good electronic. They were able to change many things to do what we needed to be done. And we joined Obiwing and we asked some stuff to do on the speedo and everything they did. And like after 1 year, it becomes like the best selling company, on electronics. And today Obiwing is what it is, because of all these projects. And that same projects happen together all the time with Montec, with Easy Power at that time, with Extreme now on the bodies. That is all about the project itself, and not just to say like, okay, I go in that team, how much can I gain more? Okay, let's go. It's not about that. It's about, let's say, what we can do together. We can make this stuff. We can make this project. Okay, let's do it. It's not about changing just because I can get better propels on the other side. It's about the project itself. And this thing here was something like Frenchy could draw a car from the zero, and do all his full idea, and I could embrace this project together with him as a driver, and as we have been doing in all projects through the last 11 years.
Got you.
So it was again another one, but it's a super big one and with a lot of responsibility. But if we look to our history in the past and all brands we have been embracing and taking them from the zero, that like we don't. If I look to my career in the past, I don't remember to enter in one company that was already successful. That was already like very successful. And in those days, all the brands that I'm in, they are very successful. And I feel part of that because I don't enter there just to have a good contract. I enter there to help them to say we need to do this and that, and they believe on that. They did, and the products now are successful.
Yeah.
So and this thing of All Infinity, I have a huge respect also with Kenji-san, and every year we had a dinner together in Thailand. Every year, like even if I was not in his team, but he was the first person that I talked with when I wanted to embrace a project like this, and I mean I feel like they were the only ones able to do this. From all the things they do and they have, I think they were the only ones capable mentally and of course finances sides to have this kind of approach.
So you have the track record, and obviously you're I was going to say you're an electric on-road specialist, but you're a every class specialist apart from large scale. And Infinity really needed this. This is kind of a gap that Infinity have had for many years. How long has the car been in development for? I mean, yeah, how long has it been in the works, or are you starting now, or how far back does it go?
No, so basically, Francisco, he started to work already, I think in March, I believe. March, June. I think like between March and June, he started to draw and to make all the things happen. And yeah, I mean, I did not drove the car until January. There were some drivers driving it. And then in January, I had my first tests in Thailand. That I went there like 3 weeks ago, and it was my first test. But we had already the first feedbacks of the car already last year, and I keep talking with Francesco, of course, and they were very positive. And yeah, and the car now is in a prototype and also like production zone. Let's say that we are receiving some stuff from the production already, and yeah, everything is looking really really good. I mean, I'm pretty happy. I'm not the kind of person that I'm over excited about things. I don't like, because then if something goes wrong, it like kind of smashes in the face, and I don't like that feeling. So I like always to be realistic and not be too greedy, let's say. But I'm really happy with what I'm seeing until now, and how the project is going. And yeah, and I just hope everything goes well, that the project goes well as soon as all the others. But that's why I'm not really afraid about, because I know the work I have been doing until today together with Francesco, and everything has been great until today. So if we keep working like we did until today, I mean, it's just gonna happen again.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. So Francesco is he's the main designer of the car?
Yeah, he's the main designer together with Nikaido-san, that it's another engineer in Infinity, and Fujiwara-san. They are all helping together, but the main idea, it's the base. It's Francesco, yeah.
And is that why it's called Project Speciale?
Speciale is the moment.
Very nice.
That's cool. So is that going to be sort of the prototype code word for the car? Is it going to be called the IFS whatever, or?
Well, I cannot tell the name yet. But yeah, Speciale, it's the moment. But I cannot tell if this is gonna be the name or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all together. It's everything is a package together. The car
Yeah.
is in a production zone at the moment. I hope it's in the market as soon as possible. But yeah.
You must have driven a lot of different touring cars over the years just for testing. Obviously, mainly Xray, but you're aware of what all the other chassis manufacturers are doing. Like, you must have a feeling of what works for pros and what works for like new guys. Like, how would you kind of describe this car? Is it like a good all-round car, or like, can you tell us anything about it in terms of what to expect from it?
Yeah, I mean, it's for the moment, I'm surprised about the traction and like how easy it is to, because honestly, during all these years, I never drove another car than Xray. I never went to a track and I take an Asomatics or a Schumacher or whatever and try it back to back to see compared to our. I never did that.
Right.
I never actually test that. I know they did it now with this one. The team did, to try to find out the comparison, and also to see, because the things of the touring car and also other cars is like, you can make a car, the car feels really good, but then you don't know lap times. It's like, kind of, now we went to Thailand, the car felt amazing, like driving wise, was super easy to drive, very good traction and everything, but the track layout was different than last year. And there was really nobody driving there since then on that layout, so there was not a reference to know what lap time is a good lap time, and we had nobody there from other teams to compare. So we were driving there for 3-4 days, testing things on the car. The car felt really amazing, but there was no there like another driver to say, okay, where are we? Are we fast? Are we slow?
Yeah.
And feeling it's as we used to say, feeling it's a bitch, basically, because sometimes you are driving and you feel like, oh, my car is really amazing, and then you check the lap time and you are slow. No, how is possible? Like, it feels good. And sometimes it happens the opposite. That is like, you feel super good. The car is like, you feel super bad. The car is like no steering, like no, not really good. And then you check the lap time and you're super fast. So it's different, and that's why also I wanted to test now in my home track, because on my home track I know the lap times. I know, because I have been there driving for so long time, and this was probably the most important test for me to try to compare where we are, because the car can feel amazing, but maybe super slow, so that's why I wanted to go there and to test there, because at least I have a base and I know the lap times we were doing, because I have been driving there for so many years together with Alex, and our car, our from Xray car has been developed there a lot of times. So I could have a comparison on the lap time at least, So it was super nice, because on my second battery with used tires, I was already faster than my previous record.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw a comment just today saying that you've been breaking records at your home track.
Yeah, so yeah, then we start to work a little bit more. Unfortunately, the weather was not fantastic. It was a bit raining and then windy, but then we end up making 6/10 faster on the lap time compared to what I had before, which it's really a lot. Again, I don't want to get too excited and too greedy about the moment, let's say, because the true moment is going to happen in TITC. So it's where everybody's going to be. It's basically, for me, it's even harder than the World Championship. It's for me the hardest race in the world, and we are going to put, improve everything what we have done. Again, I know I go with the mentality of I want to win this race, but we need to be realistic. This is a brand new project. I mean, if we win, it's fantastic. If we don't win, it's the normal thing that can happen in such a new project.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's a very good mentality to have. I mean, how do you keep that sort of pressure out of you? Like when you walk into the track and everyone's like, "That's Bruno," and oh, he's putting his car down. Like people just like converge on the track and the fencing and the seating areas and everything. How do you put that out of your mind?
Yeah, I mean, it's when I'm there, I kind of stay in my bubble. I create a kind of a bubble of myself, and I switch off from the rest of the world, basically. But it's my way to be, and especially in these kind of moments because we have races and races. Of course, if there is like a nationals at home and you don't really have like so much high competition, this bubble is kind of not exist. You are more friendly, you are more open to the people to talk this. But when I'm in such a race like a World Championship or a TITC or like such a big race, it's my work. I need to be 100% focused, and that's my moment. Like now I'm not working. I mean, I can be funny, I can be whatever, but in that moment I need to be 100% focused, because nothing can fail. And we are talking about tenths of second. So which means that every small detail matters, and I cannot put in risk anything. It's a work of a lot of people. When you're having that moment and you have to win, you have such a responsibility from all your sponsors around you in that moment. You have in the hands all the work of everybody, since the factory, the development, people that stay out from their family in that moment. So it's not only about the driver and myself to say, okay, I win the worlds. No, we win the worlds. We won. Like it's all together, because without them I could not do it, and of course them without me also cannot. But I mean, it's a team in the end, and nothing can fail. And I think if you take that moment as kidding around and like joking around and everything, you are not respecting the work of all the people around, so
yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. The pressure's going to be on. I mean, it would be hard enough. Maybe it'd be harder if you just stepped into a team with an established platform and you just came along as the new star signing and you had to perform. Like maybe like what Fend, the pressure that maybe Fend will have now coming into Xray. He's established, Xray are established, and he's just walked into a ready-made platform and he's got to deliver. And he seems to be doing that actually. But for you it's different, because it's like, Kenji-san, please, can you take a chance on this new platform? I guess there's that. And then it's also, can you work nicely and well within the new team members and the outside of you and Francesco and all of that. And then there's all the eyes of all the other racers looking on. And I think you're very popular. Like, it seems like people just want you to do well, but there will be the voices that are like, it's for the money, and it would be funny to see, in some ways, some people want to see you fail, but the majority just want to see you do well. That's what we see in the comments. That's
Yeah,
what we hear in
yeah.
the pits.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's normal. More followers you have, more haters you have, because they still follow you
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
this is the completely normal, and I think it makes part of it. It's part of the game, and I like sometimes to hear some haters, because in sometimes they have some reason, and you need to stop a little bit to try to understand if they are right or not, because even though if they say it's for the money, but my question is, who doesn't do the things for the money? I mean, maybe I should move in this project for charity. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and what I do
You gotta
tomorrow,
eat.
can I feed my family? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like I take this piece of car and hit. I mean, no, it's not like this that it works. I mean, it's normal that the things need to happen, but I think in these moments, who doesn't want to understand this project and how important this is also for the RC to have this change and create a completely new platform from zero, from two people that are so many consecutive times world champions, the IDC champions, ETS champions, European champions, and embrace a new project with a new car and everything. And in the end of all this, you only think is because of money. I mean, it's because you don't really look in the back and you try to understand what happened in the past on the projects that we have entered.
Yeah.
And if we look in the back and you see where those brands were and where they are today, thanks to the projects that were developed together, you understand this is just one more project together, to make it, big. And for us is a big challenge because we never had such a project, so I mean, haters will always be there, and I'm completely okay with that. I listen to them. I do. I like to listen to them. Of course, most of them, it's people that if they could buy the car for €1 less, they will immediately give everything to have it, and they are complaining with me if I go somewhere to receive more money. I mean, it's just like, yes, you work for free, exactly. So
Somebody
I'm-
who works in a supermarket at Lidl and moves to Aldi, and people
Yeah.
don't go, you just move for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's part of it.
I mean,
But,
it's
yeah.
it's the same. Yeah, it's the same as you say. If you work in Aldi and then Lidl offers you to be super to take care about more things and a new project, but they offer
Yeah.
you more, and then you will
Yeah.
say, "I go only for money." I mean, it's not like, I don't think it's like that. But I mean, if people think like that, I'm not here to change the mind of people. It's I want to keep doing my work, and my work until today have been successful. And this you can see on the highs of, it's on the highs of everybody. So, and it's not because I'm arrogant or I'm not arrogant. It's facts, and things have been happening. Things are happening, and I will keep working hard to keep things happening. That's it.
In order for this to be impressive, you obviously have to focus on modified. But in order to make money for Infinity, they have to sell a lot of chassis to the stock racers.
Yeah.
Like, is work going into thinking about that? Do you have drivers who are already running it with the stock electronics in there, or spec?
Spec, yeah. We have an Italian driver. This is Nico Catellani, and then we have all also the Japanese drivers and everything that they drive stock. And now in TITC we will have like I think 3 or 4 stock drivers. Trin is also a stock driver. So we have some stock drivers driving it, and I think it will be interesting to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, my point is, like, to impress everybody, you need to win in modified. But to make money,
Yeah.
you need to be in spec, and you need to sell a lot of cars at the spec level.
Mhm.
Why do you? Slightly a different question, but in terms of the modified class, the numbers are getting smaller and smaller, it seems, in modified. What do you think about that?
Well, honestly, I cannot really fully understand it. I think it's difficult because I don't know what goes on the mind of the people, because people say is a cost wise. It's because its stock is more affordable. But on my point of view, and attention, I don't pay anything, so I don't really know the bills in the month to say is like this or like that. But when I see people buying like 3, 4, 5 different motors for a season, when I see people buying 10, 15 batteries a season, and then special charger, special discharger, just to run stock. When I, as a professional driver, I drive 4 batteries a year. The same charger, I don't use this charger, and I mean, I don't know how Modify can be more expensive than stock. So this is what doesn't make sense for me. But in the other side, I think stock is much easier to drive. So I think that's the why people like more to drive stock, because it's easier to drive. And Modify, you need to, because Modify at the end is the same as you put an F1 engine inside of one Fiat Punto or a Fiat Cinquecento, So you have like 1,000 horsepower in such a little car with small wheels. So if you are not able to set the electronic, if you are not able to set the setup for that, and then also if you are not able to control the car and be a good driver to drive it, it's very difficult for the people to manage the car and to say the car is good to drive. So I think it's hard for the people to understand that they have this engine with 1,000 horsepower, but they need to reduce it for 400 horsepower for the car to become much better. But they keep with the mentality like, okay, but if I can have 1,000, why I don't drive 1,000? And it's difficult for them to understand that with 400 is much faster, because you put that power in the ground, And with stock, you don't have this problem. You have the problem of you don't have any power at all. So you need to buy stuff around, motors, batteries, chargers, discharger, to make the car a little bit faster, But the car at the end is always easier to drive than the Modified. And I think that's the why people end up giving up from Modify and turning to stock, because it's much easier to drive and they enjoy much better, much more to drive Modified than stock than Modified.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we're about halfway through our time with you, and what I wondered is if we could just take a very short break just to change the pace a bit. We have the podcast, but we also have the pod fast. So the pod fast is quickfire questions where you just have to answer as quickly as possible. You can say pass. You can say pass, but just your super quick first thing that you can think of, and I'll read you the questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You want me to time it?
You're going to time it?
Well, if I can find my clock.
It's fine. We'll just go
Maybe
fast.
not.
We'll go faster
Just
than
go
time.
fast.
Yeah. Okay. Number 1, pick one world championship. You can keep just one. Which one will it be?
Gubbio.
1 million euros to never touch an RC car again. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
Who is the greatest overall RC racer of all time?
Masami.
Name one driver you've ever had beef with on the track.
Myself.
Good answer. RC Racing TV or Live RC?
RC Racing TV.
Yes. This season you can win the Euros or TITC. Which one would you choose?
TITC.
I thought you'd say that. Racing in USA or Asia? Which is
Asia.
better? Okay.
Asia.
Who is the best overall RC racer today in 2024?
Myself.
There we go. There we go.
It's
Good answers.
Yeah, yeah.
Very strong.
David Ongaro said the same thing.
David Ongaro said himself, and everybody else said you.
Yeah,
Everyone else that we asked said
but
you're
you
the
said-
best racer.
You said overall,
Overall, yeah.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
overall there are only very little, like because Ongaro doesn't drive on road, so he cannot be overall, right?
Yeah, this is true.
So
He's on road, actually.
If
Yeah.
you ask me who is the off-road, the best off-road driver, I would say Ongaro.
Okay. Yeah.
Top,
good
like
point.
he's he's impressive, really. It's really, really good. But overall, I mean, there are very, very little, and
It's
I mean, I'm
you,
not-
Orlowski,
but I mean,
Orlowski.
it's the data. I mean, the data is the data. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the- So in the fact, I cannot say it's myself just because I'm myself, but this is the facts at the moment. So in the
So
future,
no-
it might change, but
Number 2 is Orlowski.
yeah, probably, yeah, for sure, Orlovsky, because you say overall, so there are not many drivers driving overall. Like
This is true. This is true. He's
yeah,
not doing nitro on road. Well,
mean,
he did
it's-
Nitro Buggy Worlds
because even
once.
if you remove the results, I still be the one doing all. All categories, like 1.8 nitro, I'm just missing 1.8 on road basically, and 110.
So you say you're doing all, but what's happening? What's your schedule look like this year? Because I don't think you've released what races you're going to do this year. So I'm interested to know which maybe not races, but which classes of racing you're going to enter this year?
So this year the main focus is touring. That's the most important, and that's my main focus and the whole project around it. Then I will be focusing on 1.8 off-road.
Okay.
That's the second thing. So 1.8 off-roads nitro, and also the electric, that it's still in the prototype part. So we still have to develop it and to make it good. And we have the World Championship this year in Portugal, which it's also important. So those are the 3 classes I'm going to do this year. That's it.
Right. So
okay.
no nitro on road at all.
No nitro. So for the moment, no, because there is no need, because they have like very good drivers in on roads. So there was not a need for me to do it this year. It doesn't mean in the future I'm not gonna do it, because I really would love to race 10 scale nitro and 8 scale nitro, because those were the classes where I started with my father. So I would like to win something important on those classes, of course. So I would for sure like to do like a world championship or something, but it's too early at the moment. In the moment, I have the touring car project, which is taking me a lot of time, and I will be focusing a lot on that. And then also 1.8 off-road, nitro, and electric. Those are the secondary projects that I'm in now, and those are the 3 big important things at the moment.
So will we see you at any ETS rounds?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably, yes.
Because we've missed you at ETS for a year or so.
Yeah. Probably I will, or we will be there. Yeah.
That's very nice.
Awesome.
That will be cool.
So while we're talking about other classes, obviously you're also the current 4-wheel drive European champion for buggy. Is there any scope or for Infinity to even dip a toe in that kind of waters?
Yeah, I'm sure for the future they want to cover all the classes. I'm sure they have the ambition to make and to cover more classes. But I know for the moment they want to focus on what is important and what they already have, and they want to make it great, because they like to have things to win races and to be successful, so they are successful in nitro on roads, 10 scale and 8 scale. They want to be successful now in touring car and off-roads 1.8, and that's what we are working on. And in the future we will see if there are more classes to come or not. But of course, I won the world championship 10 scale, and I have 2 world championships 10 scale. Of course, I would like to still drive the class, but that's the work, and sometimes we need to don't do things that we like so much, to do other things that we still like a lot but are more important at this moment. And I think each thing comes at the time. I mean, my favorite class to drive is 1.8 on-road nitro, and I don't drive 1.8 on-road nitro for like 7-8 years, so, but I still drive touring car. That is it's also super nice, and I really like all the thing around it, like all the details, all the small details, and it was nice. I mean, it's a new thing for me to be so deep in this project, because I never been so deep in such a project to know everything, like to know why this part can be made, why it cannot be made, the costs, this and that influence a project, and why certain things cannot be made and some things can be made, and when you start to know all of these, you start to look in a different way to the RC and to a project itself,
Yeah.
and it's super nice. And it was funny, because you talk about the people that said it's about money, but I also had this feeling in Portugal when I went now to test in Monsanto in my track. There were so many people there just to watch.
Really?
Really. And I guarantee you that probably 40% of the people that were there, they had the same thought of the haters, like, this is only for money. But after one day, when they see everything around, how Francesco was prepared with all the parts, with all the things, all the cars there ready, all the small parts, all the details, everything, like really, it was such a work built behind, and we were so focused on what we were doing, and immediately everything we were doing on the car, it was becoming better and better, and we knew exactly what we were doing. They completely changed the attitude, you know, and they were immediately very interested. You know, oh, the car looks so good, blah, 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 this and that, and they already see the car, you know, that nobody saw, and they see is something that is different than what exists in the market at the moment, and it completely changed their mind. And they were, because I think they also had the thinking like, he goes there, it's just for money, but then they kind of see that this is not that, you know, it's so special, this thing, like what is happening that is not this, you know. And yeah, and I mean, it's been great until now.
What
That's awesome.
about spy shots? Like, have there been spy shots, and how do you deal with that? Is that just you just expect that that's going to happen, or do you find that to be very kind of disrespectful?
I mean, of course, I feel it always very disrespectful, because as soon as is not the person itself doing those shots, it means is not to be shown to the market.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
And if you are doing that that spy shots, you are disrespecting not only the people that are there, but you are disrespecting a work made behind, you know, a whole work of development. You are disrespecting everybody in that table and all that team. And I felt it disrespectful from that side, you know, from the side. For me, like, you do, and you take your responsibility to do that. But I mean, you are just respecting the work of everybody over there, you know, because they choose your track to go there to test, because normally it's people from there, you know. They give you the chance to show, because there were people there, and I never said you cannot see the car. You can see the car. So you are lucky to be one of the first to have this brand new car in the hands. You know, you can see the things. Why you should disrespect all the team that respect you until now?
yeah, yeah,
You know, why should you go online to show the world what this team is doing and don't want to show the world? So you are just respecting the work of so many people. That's it.
yeah, yeah,
When that people respected you, because in this case in Thailand, if we wanted to not respect the people or try to be even more closed, we go to the room, we close the room with the key, you know, and we stay inside and nobody enters, you know. And I mean, and as soon as someone come, we put some, you know, some towel on the top of the car, and nobody can see the car. But we were open to show the people that were there that we want to share our project, you know, and our dream. So why should you disrespect this moment and not respect when comes the time to show the world the car?
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's just in this side that I don't really like it.
yeah. No, very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. With you doing just 2 classes now, it's almost like you've semi-retired.
Classes.
3? Oh,
It's nitro, electric, and 110. It's 3 classes.
okay, yeah, okay, 3 classes. Yeah. It's like you've retired. In terms of your work-life balance, are you going to spend more time at home this next year? It seems like there aren't as many events for you to do if you're not doing as many.
Yeah, for sure I'm going to race less. That's true. But I'll have more time for myself to prepare for the races. Because also what was happening before I was driving like 6 classes. So if you imagine this on the side of being professional, how can you make 6 classes 100%? You cannot.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
means
yeah.
you need to do all classes, let's say 80 to 90%, and, you know, arrive in a race and fight against the guys that they are 110% only on that class. You know, so I went to touring car, and I'm competing against drivers that they only do that class, you know. And then I go to off-road, and I'm competing against guys that they only do that class, you know, and I'm doing all. So even if I'm every weekend out of home, I still have no time to prepare 100% that race, you know. So here was also important to understand that this project requires more time of myself to be prepared for that, and that I could not just accept all classes and then be driving 90% of myself, you know. Not driving 90%, I will drive 100% still, but I will not be ready 100%, because it's impossible. Or you have an amazing team behind you that can make your car ready and you just arrive and drive, you know. But then needs to be a lot of work behind it, a lot of tests, you know, that you need to develop the car, and you need to make so many things to be ready for that moment. You know, it's unreal. If we like double check Radovan at the World Championship, I went to Radovan, and I mean, I'm competing against drivers around the world that they only focus on that class.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you compare, how can I have any chance in terms of preparation? I might be uh, as fast as them, but I'm sure I'm not as prepared as them. You know, at any moment is going to happen something that I'm not ready for that because I don't pass through that, and they already passed because they race so much. You know, so they know every detail, everything they can do and they cannot do, which I'm still learning. I mean, if you go for World Championship, you cannot be in learning mode. You need to
Yeah.
be on 100%, and you need to play all cards. And if I have no cards to play, I'm just, you know, not fighting in the same level, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever, I mean, once the electric touring car is released, do you think you'll ever just step back from that a bit and maybe just concentrate fully on off-road or something? Or you're just going to go straight into nitro on-road?
No, I mean, touring car will be for sure always my main class. It will be always my main class. And off-road, when it off-road will be the secondary class, let's say, not much less important, but you know, it will be the secondary class. And I think on-road nitro is going to be just the fun class, just the race that I want to go in, you know, enjoy it, drive it. But my pure work, let's say, the thing that is the project I'm in 100% are the other three classes.
I mean, if you turn up and beat Dario Balestri and call it a fun class, I don't know if he'll be happy with that.
Or
I mean,
Yillis?
Or Yillis.
Yeah.
Again, we go to the same point as I said before. I mean, how can I come to a world championship if I race only the world championship and compete against Dario, Raiola, and Naoto and Kolar and all these kind of guys that only do that class? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
only can take it as a fun race because I cannot be stupid enough to think I arrive there and I win easy. I mean, it's not being realistic. You know, you need to work to achieve something. You know, if I win, it's pure luck. You know, it's not nothing else.
It's a really deep team, and the nitro on-road for Infinity, isn't it?
It's a big
for
team.
sure.
Speaking of which, I'm just curious. Do you know if Yillis is planning to go to TITC with the electric chassis?
For sure. For what I know, he's building it.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay.
That's
He,
cool.
he didn't give us very much info at all on what was happening.
Yeah, he was very tight-lipped because we spoke to him before Christmas, so he was
Yeah,
like,
so he
Yeah,
could
it was a
not.
long
He could not.
But
Yes.
that'll be amazing. I mean, it has the team. Do you know if the Infinity Electric team, on-road team, has that suddenly like ballooned in size? Has it like 2 or 3 times the size it used to be now that this Project Speciale is like really underway?
and if not, do you have your eye on any other drivers that you would like to approach and maybe ask them if they want to join you? As
No,
in
I mean,
pro
it's
drivers.
not really. I mean, it's for the moment as we said, we want just this project to work and to make it good and to make it like stable, let's say, because of course when everything is new, it's still small details to take care about, you know, and just taking drivers. But if you don't have a good base for what's the sense to take the drivers, you know? So for the moment, for what I know, it's myself basically. I know Alessio Menicucci from Italy and Nico Catalani. And Nico Catalani is a very good driver in stock class, and he's also coming for TITC together with Alessio Menicucci and everything. They are very good drivers, you know, but I'm not see any other top driver coming for the moment, and I don't know anything about it. So I don't know at the future. But I think honestly, the most important at the moment is to make the drivers that are already very good drivers, like Naoto, Gilles, Victor Vilk, you know, Cookie from Japan. So there are so many good drivers at the moment that we need to push them up. You know, we need also to get like they for sure get more motivated now with the new platform, and they are, you know, ready and starving to make good results for sure. And
Awesome.
that's also the main part of it. It's to make them also come up, you know, and see all these projects, join also this energy that is going around, and for all the team to be successful.
Yeah, awesome.
In terms of your development, obviously we've seen from your posts you're developing the car and the platform and you're testing it on asphalt outside. At what point do you at what point do you start testing on carpet? Because obviously carpet is hugely important for sales in Europe and the rest of the world. Like already have you started, or do you get it right on asphalt and then move to carpet, or how does that work?
So I did not test on the carpet, but the car has been tested a lot on the carpet. Actually, the car was more tested on the carpet than on asphalt.
Okay.
That's why the reason we are testing now more on asphalt. Also because we have the TITC and it's going to be the first race, because it made no sense, even though the car was ready to race the GP3F, the ETS, the Snowbirds probably. The car was ready for that, but we were not ready for that. We had no experience. We needed to have the time to test the car, to see what is wrong, what is correct, which direction we need to take, because there is all work to happen now, because I have the data for 10, 11 years of one kind of car, how the body works, how the car works, how everything. But now is a new beginning, is a new trying to understand that things are different and the car reacts in different way than other cars, and we need to understand what's the way to take. And it's completely stupid to go for such a big races without being prepared for it. It's just because on the big races you don't really learn anything. You learn everything testing, because if we go like for an ETS, it's such a like big race, like a world championship again, where we have very little testing and practice. But if you don't have time to prepare the car to make things work, then your result in the end is very poor. And at the end of the race, you don't really learn much because there is not much track time. So we needed to prepare some race, and we decided TITC would be the best because we have this January month to prepare everything. And during January, I start to work together with Francisco to prepare everything, and then to go for TITC, that is the first biggest race, and everything to be ready then.
All right.
Could
Wow.
you predict where you will finish at TITC? I expect you will not predict, but like, if you had to guess where you will finish.
I mean, I would, as I said before, I would love, and I think it will be a big thing to everyone involved on this project, a win, of course. I would really love with everything to win, and I will do everything for that to happen. I will give my 110% for that to happen, and I'm sure everybody involved on this is going to give 110%, and that's why I think the win would be amazing. It's racing. We cannot predict anything. Even if I know the car is a second faster per lap or 2 seconds faster per lap, races are races, and I mean, I lost the world championship when I won all practice, all qualifies, first final with 3 seconds, second final I was with 2 seconds in the front, I flipped, third final I messed up and I crashed everybody else, and I lost the world. So I mean, everything looked, fantastic. Races are races, and they only ends. So it's only finished when it's everything done. So I cannot give any predictions. I think it's gonna be hard, but we are gonna fight with everything.
Should be a good
Amazing.
weekend.
We'll be watching.
Yeah, definitely. I was just wondering, the I guess it's a separate chassis that we haven't mentioned is front-wheel drive or fronty. Is there any? I assume there's some sort of plan for that as well for the development.
Well,
Once the four-wheel drive is finished, or I don't know how the
yeah,
it's
for the
developing.
moment, I think it's we are just 100% on this project, but I'm sure in the future will come also the fronty. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Have you ever tried GT8? I think it's growing in popularity, but
Yeah.
Yilis, when we spoke to him, he said it's a class for amateurs. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like people have very different views on whether it's like a truly professional class or whether it's just a fun class. I don't know.
Yeah, it's difficult because the problem is some classes began as an amateur class and classes to bring people into the RC, but I believe because there are no rules created to kind of limitate that that thing of growing and becoming more professional, the things that just explode. And we see this in GT. That was a class that at the beginning it was very basic, and now the cars are like super expensive, and it becomes very professional.
Yeah.
But I think there are classes that needs to be like that. There are others that cannot be like that. We need to protect it a little bit for it to continue to be amateur classes.
Cool. Yeah. Good stuff. What else? Have we got anything else?
I mean, just basic question, really. Nothing too deep. Where's
Nothing
I
to
had,
deep.
I had one question. It's
I
not
think it's
that.
been deep until now.
I always have this memory of 1/10 Nitro Euros that you won. With it was in Turkey.
Yeah.
With Dominic Greiner. There was this kind of famous moment in the press conference where he says this maximum. Do you remember that moment?
Yes, I do.
What led up to that moment? Like, what was that all about?
Well, it's a big story. So if I remember well, it was basically like so it all began on the qualifies because the track was super big, and we had an issue to make 5 minutes runs with the engines because you need to start from the pit lane, you make a full lap, and then the loop is going to be behind the pit lane. So which means you had a full lap on the engine, and then you open the clock and you have 5 minutes. So there were no engines surviving the 5 minutes because it was already difficult because you had one lap that was like 30 something seconds already.
Yeah.
wow?
So then we had a team manager meeting, and then it was funny because Salvan, that was the mechanic of Grenard, he said, "Okay, let's put the loop in the front of the pit lane. So as soon as you exit the pit lane, the clock opens and you have the 5 minutes." But when you do this kind of thing, you create a problem, and the problem is that on the finals means that if you exit the pit lane and you cross the loop and your engine stops, the marshal brings the car back, you start the engine and you go, you can actually make
another lap.
faster lap than
Yeah.
making full lap. So basically what happened at the final was that I was in my, so I exit the pit, I make a full lap, I end of the straight, I was almost turning to the pit lane again, I flipped, my engine stopped, they brought my car, they start the engine, and I actually lost 30 seconds.
Okay.
But I still finished first. But what happened was not this, was that Simon Kuzbuk, he actually left the pit lane, the car stopped, and he made like 2 seconds faster than his best lap because of and
Oh man.
and what happened was that and then I think Greynard protested because during the race they removed the lap of Simon because they saw it, they removed his lap. So Greynard was second at the end of the race. He protested because if they remove the lap of Simon, they should remove my lap as well.
Okay.
You know, but
Yeah.
I had already more than 50% of the lap done. I actually lost 20 seconds because of my pit lane, so I don't gain any time. And then the other thing that was the bullshit moment was that the rule says that the timekeeping cannot remove a lap during the event. So they actually added one lap to Simon. So Simon that was third became second, and Greiner that was second became third.
Right.
So I think, and then he was very, very mad at the moment because, you know, it's you were second, you fight to be first, you know, by the rules and by all this kind of thing. But there was not really a rule for a loop after the pit lane. It was something that we adjust for that moment. But of course, we know there are consequences after that, you know. And that consequences were not talked about, you know. So, and you fight to be first, and then you become to be third instead of, you know, and instead of first. So that's why he was so mad. But I mean, that race was basically mine because I start from fourth, I overtake everybody. I was like super fast. I was really so fast. I still flip. I still stop the engine. I lost 20 seconds because of that. I still recover because when I come back to track, I was not first. I still recover. I still become first, and then I won the race. So I mean, it was a very nice race.
Perfect summary. Thank you.
And to be fair, Greiner, you know, he won his world championship in Gubbio as well. So I think it was a couple of years later. So it's,
I mean, I think if I was in this position, probably I would also try to fight for that because if they remove the Simon of the lap of Simon, why they should not remove mine, you know? But then they read the rules that it was not legal to remove the lap of Simon, so they give back the lap to Simon.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was that.
Amazing.
That's yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, all the other guys that we talked to, the 2024 world champions that we talked to, we put this question to them about at the moment, European racers are very definitely on the up. That all of the 2024 world champions are Europeans. I think all but one of the 2023 world champions are Europeans. What do you put that to? What's sort of, I mean, it's probably not something that you've thought about on the flight back from Thailand for however long that is. You know, if you do think about it, what do you think that's down to?
Why is Europe the best?
I'm trying to put it,
Well, I don't know. Probably we take things more serious. I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't really have an answer for that. No, I cannot really see that on that way. Probably is that we take things more serious. We make less classes. We are more focused and deep on that classes to become more professional in terms of just driving. Because when you go to America and you go like to DNC, it's like 12 classes.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Montpellier this weekend. It's only 2. No, it's only 1. I think it's only Nitro. So you have DNC, you probably will have like 1,000 entries or 1,200 entries, but you need to drive like 6 classes to enjoy the track.
Yeah.
But again, we go to the thing I said I said before in the interview, that is like, how can you take it serious then? How can you have 6 cars 100%? You cannot. You need to focus on one thing to do one thing 100%. So I mean, you don't see Ongaro driving truck. It's like, you see Ongaro driving truck? No. But I believe me, you see Dakota driving truck, and probably drive truck nitro, truck electric, then he drives 10 scale truck, then he drives 2-wheel drive, then 4-wheel drive, then there's so many classes, and and then you don't focus in one only thing, and probably is that. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's a very valid point. Also, I would say it's the concentration of the tracks and the countries in Europe. It's a lot smaller than the U.S. We were, just talking in the RCTV news that we covered today. There was a massive race that was on the West Coast, 2 races that were in the West Coast that were within really close distance of each other, and then another huge race that was on the East Coast, all in the same weekend.
Yeah.
So which one do these pro drivers decide to go to? And they're not racing each other. It's so yeah, Fend won and Mayfield won another.
Yeah, I mean, it's not saying that we do a better work. I think we do a better work in terms of performance-wise, in terms of arriving in the important race, and if we are all there, the Europeans are going to succeed better. But I think they do probably a better work in terms of having more people driving. Like, we don't have any race in Europe with even close to 500 entries. We have sometimes like ETS, like I think ETS and EOS now this weekend, they have with very little, like not 12 classes, like they have in Snowbirds this weekend, they have like 12 classes again.
Yeah.
But they do a very good work of having more people and more like amateurs to come to RC than I think we do in Europe.
Yep. Very good point.
Much, yeah.
Very good point.
Definitely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Bruno, thank you for giving us all of this time. It's been amazing to catch up with you.
No problem. Let me know the invoice I should send to
Frank. Yeah.
He's off screen. He's over there.
Yeah, Nick will pay that one. Amazing. Well, you've got all this free time now. You're not going to the races. You can log in and watch the races with us and maybe give us some live co-commentary. That'd be amazing.
Probably it. Probably is.
Okay, we won't push it. Amazing.
Okay.
Well, yeah, enjoy the rest of your day and good luck for 2025.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Amazing.
See ya. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye, Bruno.
Bruno.
That's it for this video, but don't forget to subscribe and check out the rest of our RC Racing video series. And don't forget, be an RCTV hero. Make sure to hit that join button and find out all the details about being an RCTV hero.